Carter sat quietly in his tiny workshop, staring at the rusted, half-finished spaceship parts scattered around him. Once, he had been the best spacecraft mechanic in the colony. Now, the empty sleeves of his shirt were a constant reminder of the terrible accident that had stolen away not only his arms, but also his livelihood and his hope. Outside, rain tapped softly on the metal roof. He listened to it, feeling trapped and useless. He remembered clearly the day that changed his life forever. He had been working diligently on a spacecraft engine, lost in his craft, when alien pirates attacked their colony without warning. Carter had tried to protect his co-workers, but the explosion had cost him dearly. Since then, Carter rarely left his small house, ashamed of what he had become. Friends and family visited less and less often, unsure how to comfort him. He felt utterly alone, unable even to perform the simplest tasks. His once busy life was reduced to wading through endless, empty days. It was late afternoon when a soft knock at his door broke the silence. Carter sighed, uncertain if he wanted company, yet curiosity forced him to respond. "Come in," he said softly. The door slid open, revealing a figure unlike anyone Carter had ever seen. She was tall and slender, her skin a gentle shade of silver blue, and her eyes sparkled like clear stars. Carter knew immediately she was not human. "My name is Lyra," she spoke clearly, her voice soothing and calm. "I've traveled far to see you, Carter. I have heard much about your skills." Carter shrugged bitterly. "Skills I no longer have. If you've come seeking help, you are in the wrong place." Lyra stepped closer, her movements graceful. "Your talents aren't lost, Carter. They're simply waiting to be rediscovered. I've brought something special for you, something that can restore what you've lost." Carter shook his head slowly. "Doctors have tried prosthetics. Nothing works for me. There's nothing special left." "These are different," Lyra insisted gently, opening a small box she had carried. Inside were two sleek metallic objects, unlike anything Carter had seen. They glowed faintly, pulsing with life. "These implants come from my people, the Eldari. They're designed to adapt and become part of you. They will give you back not just your arms, but much more." Carter looked away, conflicted. "Why me? Surely there are others more deserving." Lyra knelt beside him, her voice filled with sincerity. "You underestimate yourself. The implants chose you, Carter. They sensed your inner strength, your heart, and your courage." Carter hesitated, fear and doubt fighting within him. Finally, the possibility of regaining his life proved stronger. "Do it," he whispered. "Please." Lyra guided Carter to his simple bed. The implants activated immediately when they touched his shoulders, wrapping themselves around him, merging into his flesh painlessly. Carter felt an odd warmth spreading throughout his body, followed by a rush of energy unlike anything he had ever experienced. When the glow faded, Carter saw his new arms clearly. They were perfect, strong, and strangely comforting. As he flexed his fingers experimentally, the implants responded smoothly, almost anticipating his movements. "Incredible," Carter murmured, tears filling his eyes. "You are whole again," Lyra said softly. "But remember, these implants are not mere prosthetics. They will learn from you and grow stronger. You have been chosen for a purpose much greater than yourself." Carter spent the next days learning to use his new arms. He quickly discovered they were far superior to his original limbs, capable of incredible precision and strength. Tasks that once required hours were now completed in minutes. Carter felt reborn, his confidence slowly returning. During his training, Lyra stayed with him, patient and supportive. One evening, while they rested beneath the stars, Carter asked the question burning in his mind. "Why did you truly come here?" "Lyra, these implants, they're extraordinary. I know there must be more to this." Lyra hesitated briefly, her voice serious when she finally replied. "The Eldari are at war. A powerful empire, the Vorten, threatens us all. They destroy entire planets without mercy. My people have searched for those who can help us, individuals who possess special traits. Your implants are part of that plan. Carter felt his heart sink slightly. So, I'm just a tool to you? Lyra looked genuinely hurt. No, Carter, you are much more. The implants can only bond with someone exceptional. They chose you because of who you are inside. Your humanity makes you powerful. We need your help to save lives, human and alien alike. Carter thought deeply about her words, sensing the weight of responsibility settling onto his shoulders. Yet, alongside the fear and uncertainty, there was determination. He had been given a second chance, and he would not waste it. I'm ready, he finally said, looking firmly into Lyra's shining eyes. If I can help stop these Vorten, I will. Lyra smiled warmly, relief clear in her expression. I knew we chose wisely. In the following days, Carter and Lyra transformed the tiny workshop into a bustling center of activity. Carter's reputation quickly spread again, but now people spoke in awe about the armless mechanic who had risen to greatness once more. They marveled at his remarkable skills and watched with admiration as he repaired and improved spacecraft beyond anything they'd seen before. Carter felt pride returning to his heart, but he also felt humbled by his new role. He saw each repair, each task, as a step closer to protecting others from the destruction he had faced. The implants, meanwhile, continued to grow, changing subtly as they adapted to Carter's needs, always anticipating and enhancing his abilities. But beneath it all, Carter still wondered about the path ahead. He knew the Vorten Empire was ruthless, and that battles were inevitable. He worried if he was truly ready for such dangers, despite the remarkable power he now possessed. One night, as Carter worked late on a new spacecraft engine, Lyra approached quietly. You should rest, she gently advised. Tomorrow, we leave this colony. The Eldari fleet awaits us. Carter stopped, laying down his tools, and nodded slowly. Tomorrow, he would leave behind everything he had known, stepping into a larger, more dangerous world. Yet, despite the unknowns ahead, Carter felt surprisingly calm. Thank you, he whispered softly to Lyra. For finding me? For giving me back my purpose. Lyra smiled gently, placing a comforting hand on his shoulder. You always had your purpose, Carter. I simply reminded you of it. As the sun rose over the quiet colony, Carter stood ready beside Lyra, his new arms gleaming softly in the early light. He had once given up, thinking his life was over. But now, as he boarded the waiting Eldari ship, he understood clearly that his journey had just begun. The Eldari fleet hovered silently in the darkness of space, slowly recovering from their last intense battle. Carter felt drained, his heart heavy with the knowledge that the war was far from over. He knew that each victory came at a cost, and yet he could not turn back now. He had promised himself and those around him to keep fighting. Captain Varn approached Carter, his face serious yet comforting. Carter, your strength and courage continue to inspire everyone here. But we face a greater challenge now. Tell me, Carter replied firmly, his eyes reflecting determination. The Vorten have captured an Eldari outpost, one that holds vital secrets about our fleet and technology. If they decode our secrets, we may lose everything we've worked for. Carter understood immediately the importance of the mission. We must retake it. Captain Varn nodded solemnly. Yes, and you must lead the effort. Your implants and bravery have made you our best chance. Carter gathered his thoughts quietly before responding. I'll do everything I can. Preparations began immediately. Carter, Lyra, and a group of brave Eldari soldiers quickly organized for their mission. They approached the captured outpost cautiously, knowing the enemy would expect an attack dot as their shuttle landed silently. Carter felt his heart beat rapidly. The enemy had fortified the outpost heavily. Carter led his team carefully through dark, narrow corridors. Alert to every sound and movement dot, they soon encountered heavy resistance. Carter's implants reacted instantly, guiding him in battle. He moved swiftly, fighting with skill and precision, each action coordinated perfectly. Lyra and their team fought bravely alongside him, Determined and focused, they reached the central control room, heavily guarded by enemy forces. A fierce fight erupted instantly, each side battling intensely. Carter felt fear but did not allow it to control him, his implants driving him forward tirelessly. Finally, the enemy retreated, leaving the control room damaged but accessible. Now, the real work begins, Carter murmured, quickly moving to repair the vital systems. His implants responded rapidly, sensing precisely what was needed. As he worked, Lyra stood guard, protecting him from any surprise attacks. Outside, more enemy soldiers gathered, attempting to reclaim the control room. Carter worked frantically, sweat trickling down his face, his implants performing flawlessly. Suddenly, the systems came alive, regaining Eldari control. "It's done?" Carter shouted, relief clear in his voice. Lyra quickly signaled the team. "We need to hold our ground. Reinforcements will arrive soon." The fight grew fiercer as enemy forces tried repeatedly to break through. Carter stood strong, protecting the control room and his team with every ounce of strength. His implants reacted swiftly, guiding every move with remarkable precision. Just as their strength began to fade, Eldari reinforcements arrived, swiftly defeating the remaining enemies. Carter felt an overwhelming sense of relief as friendly soldiers filled the area, ensuring their safety. Back aboard the flagship, Captain Varin greeted Carter warmly. "You've done the impossible again. Our secrets remain safe, thanks to you." Carter nodded quietly, feeling proud but also deeply tired. He knew they had won another battle, but the war continued. Each victory pushed him harder, yet each battle wore him down a little more. That night, Carter sat quietly, reflecting on everything he'd faced. Lyra joined him, sensing his exhaustion and worry. "You carry so much," she said gently. "Don't forget that you are human, Carter." "Sometimes it feels hard to remember," Carter admitted softly. "My life has changed so much." "You've adapted bravely," Lyra replied warmly. "But don't forget your own needs. Rest, heal, and prepare for what comes next." Carter took her advice to heart, allowing himself to rest and recover for the first time in weeks. As days passed, he regained his strength, preparing carefully for future battles. Not soon after, troubling news reached the Eldari fleet. The Vorten Empire had united with another powerful faction, increasing their threat significantly. Carter felt dread, but also renewed determination. Captain Varin addressed the fleet calmly yet firmly. "Our enemy grows stronger, but so do we. We fought bravely, and we must continue to stand united." The fleet prepared for another fierce confrontation, training tirelessly, ensuring each ship was ready. Carter worked diligently, perfecting his implants and skills. He understood clearly the importance of his role, ready to protect those he cared deeply about. The enemy approached rapidly, their numbers overwhelming. As the fleets clashed, Carter moved quickly through the ship, repairing systems and boosting defenses. His implants guided him flawlessly, each repair strengthening their chances of survival. The battle was intense, lasting hours, the fleet struggling against overwhelming odds. Carter's heart raced constantly, yet he refused to give up. He fought bravely, his implants enhancing every action, driving him forward. Slowly, the tide turned, the Eldari pushing the enemy back. Carter felt a growing sense of hope, despite his exhaustion. The enemy began retreating, defeated once again. As the fleet celebrated another victory, Carter felt deep gratitude for his friends and allies. Yet he knew clearly their struggle wasn't over. He understood each victory was a step forward, but also knew there would always be another battle ahead. That night, Carter stood silently, watching stars drift calmly in space. Lyra joined him quietly, her presence comforting. "We've done well," she said softly, "but I know you feel the pressure." "It never ends," Carter admitted gently. "But neither does my resolve." Lyra smiled warmly. "That resolve makes you special. It gives us all strength." Carter felt warmth spread through him, grateful for her words. He knew their bond was powerful, giving him courage to continue fighting. The days ahead would hold more challenges, battles, and uncertainty. Yet Carter felt clear about his purpose, driven by his implants, his bravery, and the friendships he'd formed. He knew his journey was far from over, yet he was ready to face whatever came next, stronger than ever. Carter felt the weight of his journey grow heavier as the fleet traveled through the quiet depths of space. Recent battles had brought them many victories, yet he knew the war against the Vorten Empire was far from over. Carter had grown stronger, more confident, but he also carried a deep worry for those around him. One morning, Captain Varun called Carter and Lyra to the main control room. His face was serious, his voice calm but firm. "Our spies have uncovered troubling news," Varun explained. "The Vorten have built a massive fleet near their border. They are preparing for an attack unlike anything we've seen." Carter felt his heart sink. "What can we do to stop them?" "We must attack first," Varun replied firmly. "It's risky, but we must disrupt their plans. Carter, your role will be crucial." Carter nodded, feeling both determined and anxious. "Tell me what I must do." Varun brought up a holographic map, pointing carefully. "The Vorten's main shipyard is here, heavily protected but vital to their fleet. If we disable it, we can buy ourselves precious time." "I'm ready," Carter said without hesitation, looking to Lyra, who gave him a supportive nod. The fleet moved swiftly toward the enemy territory. As they drew closer, Carter trained constantly, preparing his implants and his mind for the tough task ahead. Each day brought new challenges, but he faced them bravely, supported by Lyra and his friends among the Eldari. Finally, the fleet arrived near the enemy shipyard. Carter saw immediately how enormous and heavily defended it was. Hundreds of enemy ships circled the area, their weapons ready. "We must act quickly," Captain Varun instructed. "Carter, you'll lead a small team to infiltrate and disable the stations." Power source. Carter took a deep breath, steadying his nerves. Minutes later, he, Lyra, and several Eldari soldiers quietly landed their shuttle close to the enemy shipyard. They moved silently through dark corridors, avoiding enemy patrols. Suddenly, they encountered a large group of Vorten soldiers, Carter's. Team reacted immediately, battling fiercely. Carter fought bravely, using his implants with speed and precision. The fight was short but intense, and they continued forward cautiously. When they reached the power core, Carter began his work immediately. His implants guided each movement perfectly, but the enemy discovered their location quickly. Alarms blared loudly, and Carter heard heavy footsteps approaching. "Hold them off!" Lyra commanded the soldiers. "Carter, hurry!" Carter focused intensely, the implants working rapidly. Outside, the battle grew fiercer. Carter worked faster, every second precious. Finally, the power source flickered and then shut down completely. The shipyard was disabled. "It's done," Carter shouted. "Good," Lyra replied urgently. "Now, let's get out of here." They fought their way back toward their shuttle, enemy soldiers pressing hard from all sides. Carter's heart raced as he helped defend his friends, implants enhancing every action. Just as they reached the shuttle, a large explosion shook the station. "We need to leave now!" Carter yelled above the chaos dot. The shuttle lifted off quickly, narrowly escaping enemy fire. From space, they watched as the shipyard erupted in powerful explosions. Carter felt relief wash over him, mixed with sorrow for the lives lost. Back aboard the flagship, Captain Varun praised the team's bravery. But even as they celebrated this important victory, Carter knew the enemy would return stronger and more determined. Days later, news reached the Eldari fleet. The Vorten were retaliating, attacking multiple colonies simultaneously. Carter felt heavy guilt knowing their victory had led to such anger. "We did what we had to," Lyra reminded him gently. "Now we must keep fighting." The fleet raced to defend. The colonies under attack. Each battle was fierce and exhausting, testing Carter's strength and courage. He fought tirelessly, determined to protect innocent lives. His implants continued to evolve, responding more effectively each time. One night, as Carter sat quietly after a particularly tough battle, Lyra joined him, sensing his exhaustion. "You carry so much responsibility," she said softly. "Don't forget, you are not alone." "Sometimes it feels that way," Carter admitted quietly. "We are all in this together," Lyra reminded him gently. "Every victory, every loss, we share them all." Carter took comfort from her words, feeling renewed strength from their bond. He knew she was right. Together, they would face whatever came next. Soon after, the Eldari discovered that the Vorten had created a terrifying new super weapon, powerful enough to destroy entire planets. Carter felt dread at the thought, but knew he must confront this threat directly. "The weapon must be destroyed," Captain Varn said gravely. "Carter, your implants might be our only chance." Carter understood clearly the danger he faced, but accepted without hesitation. "I will do whatever it takes." The fleet moved quickly, arriving near the massive weapon, guarded heavily by enemy ships. A fierce battle erupted immediately, flashes of energy lighting space brilliantly. Carter, Lyra, and their team boarded the enemy weapon swiftly, moving quietly through dark, threatening corridors. Carter's heart raced, knowing everything depended on him. As they reached the weapon's control center, they faced fierce enemy resistance. The fight was intense, and several Eldari fell bravely defending their mission. Carter fought fiercely, his implants guiding him expertly. Finally, he reached the control panel, working quickly and skillfully. "Carter, hurry!" Lyra called urgently. Enemy reinforcements rushed in, and the fight intensified. Carter worked faster, sweat running down his face. Just as the enemy closed in, the super weapon began to shut down, lights flickering out. "We did it!" Carter shouted, relief flooding him. "We must go!" Lyra cried urgently. They raced back to their shuttle, explosions erupting around them. Barely reaching safety, they launched quickly, narrowly escaping as the super weapon exploded spectacularly behind them. Back aboard the flagship, the victory was celebrated widely, yet Carter felt only quiet satisfaction. He knew the war continued, and many more challenges lay ahead. But he also felt stronger, braver, ready to continue the fight. That night, Carter stood quietly with Lyra, watching stars drift peacefully. He felt deeply grateful for his implants, his friends, and the purpose he had rediscovered. He understood. Now that strength wasn't about never feeling fear, but about facing fear bravely, each day stronger than the last. Carter knew clearly he was exactly where he needed to be, ready to face whatever lay ahead. Carter watched quietly from the Eldari flagship as they approached the outpost under siege. His heart was steady, his mind clear. Each mission seemed more dangerous than the last, yet Carter knew he couldn't turn away. He understood clearly that many lives depended on him. As their fleet drew closer, they saw Eldari ships fighting desperately against a massive Vorten force. The enemy vessels were large and menacing, firing powerful blasts. The Eldari fleet moved swiftly into battle formation, joining their allies. The space around the outpost filled with flashes of light and powerful explosions. Captain Varn quickly called Carter and Lyra to the command center. His expression was serious as he spoke. "We need the outpost's defense grid working immediately. Carter, you must go down there and repair it." "Understood," Carter replied firmly, feeling the weight of responsibility. Minutes later, Carter and Lyra descended toward the planet's surface in a small shuttle. They landed in a safe area near the outpost, carefully making their way through damaged buildings and frightened survivors. Carter's heart ached for them, knowing how close they were to losing everything. When they reached the defense grid, Carter began work instantly. The implants moved smoothly, guiding his every action. But soon, a Vorten squad burst through a nearby wall, weapons raised and ready. Lyra reacted immediately, shielding Carter as she fired back. "Stay focused," she shouted over the noise of battle. Carter struggled to concentrate amid the chaos. Explosions shook the ground, making the repairs difficult. He fought to remain calm, trusting his implants completely. Slowly, the system began responding, powering up bit by bit. Just as the defense grid activated, Lyra fell to the ground, injured by enemy fire. Carter's heart jumped with fear, but he quickly finished the final adjustments before rushing to her side. "Lyra!" Carter called urgently, helping her up gently. "I'll be fine," she whispered, grimacing through the pain. "The defenses?" "There. Working," Carter assured her. Above them, the newly repaired defense system began firing on the enemy ships, helping turn the tide of battle. Carter carefully supported Lyra as they moved towards safety, escaping enemy fire. Relief flooded Carter as they reached the shuttle, lifting off quickly and returning to the flagship. Once aboard, Lyra received immediate medical attention, and Carter waited anxiously outside the medical bay. He realized how deeply he cared about her. His heart filled with worry. Captain Varn approached him, placing a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "You saved many lives today, Carter. Your bravery has given us hope once again." Carter nodded quietly, grateful but still anxious. "Lyra took the risk for me." "She knew exactly what she was doing," Varn said gently. "She believes in you. We all do." Hours later, Lyra recovered enough to see Carter. He entered slowly, relieved to find her awake and smiling faintly. "You're very brave," Carter said softly, sitting beside her bed. "I learned from the best." Lyra replied warmly, "You did well today. I'm proud of you." Carter smiled gratefully, feeling renewed strength from her words. In the days that followed, the fleet continued repairing the damaged outpost. Carter worked tirelessly, his implants becoming increasingly powerful and responsive. The Eldari grew to deeply respect him, viewing him as essential to their survival. Yet, Carter found himself troubled by growing doubts. Each battle brought new challenges, and he wondered how long he could continue fighting without faltering. One evening, as he sat quietly watching stars pass by, Captain Varn joined him. "You carry much on your shoulders, Carter," Varn said quietly. "It's natural to feel uncertain sometimes." "Sometimes I wonder if I'm truly strong enough," Carter admitted quietly. Captain Varn smiled warmly. "Your strength isn't in your implants alone. It's in your courage, your heart. Those qualities make you more powerful than any technology." Carter considered Varn's words, feeling comforted by them. He knew the captain was right. His strength came from more than just his remarkable arms. It came from within. The next day, an urgent message arrived from another Eldari colony. The Vorten had unleashed a terrifying new weapon, devastating entire cities quickly. The fleet rushed immediately toward the colony, preparing for their toughest battle yet. Upon arriving, the devastation shocked everyone. Entire cities lay in ruins, fires burning uncontrollably. Carter felt anger rising, determined to stop the enemy from causing further harm. "We must disable that weapon," Captain Varn instructed urgently. "It's your most important mission yet, Carter." "I won't fail," Carter vowed solemnly. Carter, Lyra, and a small team quickly landed near the weapon's location, carefully approaching undercover. The weapon was enormous, protected heavily by Vorten soldiers. Carter knew this mission was incredibly dangerous, but his determination outweighed his fear. Moving swiftly, they silently eliminated guards along their path, approaching the weapon unnoticed. Carter's implants seemed to sense the danger, guiding him perfectly through each obstacle. Finally reaching the massive weapon, Carter quickly began disabling it. Suddenly, alarm sounded, alerting the enemy to their presence. Lyra and the team defended Carter bravely, battling fiercely as Carter raced to finish his task. He worked frantically, implants guiding each precise movement, focused entirely on success. The final adjustments took mere seconds, and suddenly, the weapon shut down completely. Carter sighed in relief, but knew their fight wasn't over yet. Quickly, Lyra shouted, "We must leave." They raced back through fierce gunfire, reaching their shuttle just in time. As they lifted off, powerful explosions erupted behind them, destroying the terrible weapon forever. Back aboard the flagship, Celebrations filled the halls. Captain Varan praised Carter and the team's bravery, declaring the mission an incredible victory. But Carter felt more than victory. He felt clarity about his purpose. Each challenge had strengthened him, each mission had taught him courage, and each success had made him believe more in himself. That night, standing quietly beside Lyra, Carter felt peace despite the battles. Ahead, he knew clearly that whatever came next, he would face it bravely, powered not just by alien implants, but by hope, courage, and the bonds he had formed along his journey. The Eldari fleet was magnificent, unlike anything Carter had ever imagined. As the ship approached, Carter stared through the viewing window, amazed by the elegant vessels shimmering in space. They moved gracefully, shining softly under the distant stars. Carter felt a mix of excitement and worry, knowing this fleet was about to become part of his new life. Captain Varan greeted Carter and Lyra warmly as they stepped aboard the flagship. Carter felt slightly nervous, but Captain Varan's calm presence reassured him. Varan showed them to the command center, a wide room filled with glowing screens and busy crew members. "Your implants have attracted much attention," Captain Varan said, looking carefully at Carter. "They will help us greatly, but they also place you in great danger. The Vorten Empire will soon learn about you and your abilities." Carter nodded, understanding clearly the seriousness of the situation. "I'm ready to face whatever comes." The next several days were busy ones for Carter. He spent hours learning about the Eldari ships, working closely with engineers and discovering new abilities in his implants. Each day, Carter's confidence grew, and so did the implant's power. They seemed eager to help, always ready, adapting to every challenge Carter faced. One day, as Carter and Lyra worked on a particularly challenging repair, the fleet received an urgent message. A nearby colony was under attack by the Vorten. The fleet moved immediately, racing to help. Carter felt his heart quicken as they approached the colony. He knew this battle would test him and his new arms in ways he had never imagined. The colony appeared on screen, burning and damaged from the fierce attack. Vorten ships circled menacingly, firing relentlessly. The Eldari fleet wasted no time, engaging the enemy, their sleek ships moving swiftly through space. Explosions lit up the darkness, filling Carter with dread. "We must repair the colony's main defense station," Captain Varan instructed Carter urgently. "Without it, we cannot protect them." "I'll go," Carter replied without hesitation. Lyra joined him, determined to help. They landed quickly and moved through damaged buildings and terrified colonists. Carter's heart broke at the sight, but it only fueled his determination. They reached the defense station, its systems heavily damaged. Carter began working immediately, his implants responding perfectly to his every command. Suddenly, a massive blast shook the ground beneath them. Carter turned, seeing enemy troops closing in. Lyra drew her weapon, firing bravely to protect Carter. "Keep working," she shouted. "I'll hold them off." Carter focused fiercely on repairing the station, ignoring explosions and gunfire around him. His implants moved faster than ever, guiding him through the complex repairs. Minutes felt like hours, but finally the defense station powered up, its weapons firing back at the Vorten attackers. The enemy forces began to retreat. Lyra sighed with relief, coming back to Carter's side. "We did it," she said, smiling faintly. "The colony is safe." Carter looked around, relieved but exhausted. He had faced true combat, and he had succeeded. But he also knew that the Vorten Empire would return, stronger and angrier. Back aboard the flagship, Captain Varan praised their bravery, but Carter could not shake his worries. That evening, Carter and Lyra stood quietly watching the stars, each lost in thought. "This is just the beginning," Carter said quietly, sensing the truth. "They'll be back." Lyra nodded, her eyes serious. "Yes, and next time, we must be even stronger." Days passed as the fleet prepared for further attacks, strengthening defenses and training tirelessly. Carter worked harder than ever, knowing the importance of his role. His implants continued to grow stronger, adapting quickly, always enhancing his abilities. But Carter also struggled internally. He felt the heavy weight of expectations and the pressure to succeed. Each mission brought new risks, and each time he worried he might fail. One evening, Captain Varn found Carter deep in thought. "You doubt yourself," the captain observed gently. "Remember, Carter, strength does not mean never feeling fear. It means facing that fear and pushing forward anyway." Carter took Varen's words to heart. He realized he wasn't alone in his struggles. The entire fleet carried the same fears and hopes. With renewed determination, Carter prepared himself, vowing to continue fighting no matter the cost. Soon, another urgent call arrived. A remote Eldari outpost was under siege. Carter stood ready, determined and stronger. As the fleet raced once again to defend those in need, Carter felt clear about his purpose. He was no longer just a mechanic without arms. He had become a hero, guided by alien implants, driven by courage, and dedicated to protecting others from harm. As their ship moved toward another uncertain battle, Carter glanced at Lyra. They shared a quiet, reassuring smile. Together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead, confident and united in their mission. Carter felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness as he stepped aboard the Eldari spacecraft. It was sleek, graceful, and unlike any human-made vessel he had ever seen. Lyra guided him through the shimmering hallways, explaining the ship's advanced technology in a calm, gentle voice. Carter listened carefully, amazed by the quiet hum that filled the air and the smooth, glowing walls around them. He soon found himself in a large room filled with various Eldari crew members, each one working diligently. They glanced up briefly to acknowledge Carter, their eyes filled with curiosity and respect. Lyra introduced him to the captain, an older Eldari named Varen, whose wise eyes instantly made Carter feel welcome. "We've heard much about you, Carter," Captain Varen said, extending his hand warmly. "Your reputation for courage and skill precedes you." Carter shook his hand gratefully. "Thank you, Captain. I hope I can live up to your expectations." Varen smiled reassuringly. "I'm certain you will. Lyra speaks very highly of you. Your journey here has only just begun, but already you have shown strength and adaptability. Those are the traits we desperately need now." Days passed quickly aboard the ship. Carter adjusted to life among the Eldari, working tirelessly in the ship's engineering bay. His implants amazed everyone with their speed and precision, learning rapidly from each task. The Eldari engineers watched with fascination as Carter effortlessly repaired complex ship systems that had troubled them for months. One evening, Lyra approached Carter as he worked quietly on a small, intricate device. "You've impressed everyone here, Carter," she said gently, watching him carefully adjust a delicate piece. "You adapt quicker than we could have imagined." Carter paused and looked at her thoughtfully. "It's strange. These implants feel like they've always been part of me. It's almost as if they anticipate what I'm thinking." Lyra smiled knowingly. "They bonded deeply with you. That's precisely why the implants chose you. Not everyone could achieve what you have." Before Carter could respond, alarms suddenly blared through the ship. Red lights flashed urgently around them. Captain Varen's voice sounded clearly over the speakers. "All crew, battle stations? A Vorten ship has appeared on our scanners." Carter felt a surge of fear, but he quickly pushed it aside, following Lyra swiftly to the bridge. The Eldari crew was calm but focused, each member swiftly carrying out their duties. Through the large view screen, Carter saw the enemy ship, a massive, dark vessel bristling with weapons. Captain Varen turned to Carter and Lyra as they arrived. "Carter, we may need your expertise soon. The Vorten have a new weapon system. We've seen it destroy entire fleets." Carter nodded determinedly, gripping the railing as the enemy ship moved closer. The first shots fired from the Vorten ship shook the Eldari vessel violently, sparks flying from several panels. "Damage in the engineering bay," shouted a young Eldari crew member. "I'll handle it," Carter said without hesitation. rushing back through the corridor. The engineering bay was filled with smoke, panels sparking, and systems failing rapidly. Carter moved quickly, his implants reacting instantly to the crisis. With remarkable speed, he stabilized the damaged systems, rerouting power and repairing critical connections. As he worked, another violent blast rocked the ship. Carter steadied himself and continued, focused completely on his task. Each move he made was precise and flawless, driven by determination and an intense desire to protect his new friends. Finally, the alarm stopped blaring and the room stabilized. Carter exhaled deeply, relieved, as Captain Varen's voice spoke again. Thanks to Carter's quick thinking and exceptional skill, we remain operational. The Vorten ship is retreating for now. Lyra entered the engineering bay moments later, concern and admiration evident on her face. You saved us, Carter. Without you, we might have been lost. Carter smiled slightly, wiping sweat from his forehead. I did what I had to do. I'm glad it worked. Over the following days, the Eldari treated Carter with even greater respect. He continued to learn more about their technology and the implant's incredible capabilities. Yet, he also began to understand the severity of the threat posed by the Vorten Empire. He realized that this battle was just one of many to come. One quiet evening, Captain Varen invited Carter and Lyra to his private quarters. We face challenging times, Varen began seriously. The Vorten Empire grows stronger daily, and our resources are limited. Carter, your talents may be our best chance at survival. Carter took a deep breath. I understand. I won't let you down. Varen nodded approvingly. We're planning an important mission to recover crucial technology from a nearby outpost recently captured by the Vorten. Your skills will be vital. I'm ready, Carter replied firmly. The next morning, Carter, Lyra, and a small team departed in a stealth craft toward the captured outpost. As they approached silently, Carter felt a deep sense of responsibility. He knew everyone relied on him, and failure was not an option. Landing quietly on the outpost, they moved swiftly through shadowy corridors. Signs of battle were everywhere, a grim reminder of the enemy's cruelty. Carter stayed focused, his implants alert to every sound and movement. They reached the main control room, where the vital technology was stored. Carter quickly began his work, carefully dismantling complex equipment while Lyra and the others stood guard. Just as he finished, alarms sounded throughout the outpost. They've discovered us, Lyra warned urgently. Almost done, Carter reassured her, swiftly securing the final components. Enemies poured into the room, weapons firing. Lyra and the team fought bravely, providing Carter precious moments. His implants moved faster than ever, guiding him to safety as he secured the final pieces. We have it, Carter shouted, signaling the team to retreat. They fought their way back to the stealth craft, narrowly escaping the enemy forces. Once safely aboard, Lyra exhaled deeply, clearly shaken. You did it, she said softly. Again, Carter. Carter leaned back, exhausted but proud. We did it together. Returning to the main Eldari ship, Captain Varen welcomed them warmly. This success means hope for us all. Your courage and skill inspire us, Carter. Carter smiled humbly, feeling a new sense of belonging. Yet deep inside, he knew more trials awaited. He understood the war had only just started, and his path was far from finished. Still, surrounded by allies and friends who respected him, Carter felt confident. He had discovered his strength and purpose. Now, nothing seemed impossible.